will start just giving the welcome to everyone. I don't know, some people maybe they are in a good evening or even good night. For us, it's a good afternoon. Our journey in the DESIS Café this year started with a Japanese coffee, as some of you were present during the DESIS Q lab in January. And today we are super excited and happy because we are receiving Polimi DESIS Lab, which is one of the oldest DESIS labs in the network, and I'm quite thrilled to see what they are going to show us. I think that one of the things that you already know is that this is a very informal meeting where we can learn from each other and share the projects we are developing within our DESIS labs. I think we are going to have also an activity here, and I would like to, before we start, just to say that we are opening slots to host DESIS Café for the end of this year. Consider this an opportunity for your DESIS lab. Please let us know if you want to. In May, we are going to Brazil, to Rio de Janeiro, to the DESIS Café at the Rio DESIS Lab. And we have slots for the end of the year. So please step forward if you think you want to organize this DESIS Café. I'm not going to take any longer. I will give the floor to David Fassi and Beatriz Berrocal and Stefan Zeng. There will be your hosts for the day. So I will give you the floor, David.
Grazie, Teresa. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to see you all here. Maybe others are coming. So in the meantime, welcome to the Polimi DESIS Lab Café. There are some of my collaborators of the DESIS Lab connected today. First of all, Laura Galluzzo, who is the operational manager of the Polimi DESIS Lab. I'm the coordinator. Chen Fan and Beatriz is the second part of the cafe that will be more an activity. And there are other members like Ambra, Daniela. All the Italians' names are belonging to us. Ciao Ezio, good morning. Ciao, nice to see you again. I will start sharing a short presentation about our lab, introducing some of the activities and projects that we are doing. And then we will have a time for a conversation about the role of community in our daily activities as a researcher, because we are trying to explore other approaches and other relationship between what we are doing as professor, teachers, PhD candidate, researcher, and the local community we're working with. Before doing that, let me introduce the Polimi DESIS Lab. That is a lab that today is including 8 professors, 10 PhD candidates, and 8 fellow researchers, and a number of interns that we are hosting in our lab each semester. It is based in the design department at the Politecnico in Milano. And it is formally recognized as a lab in our department since 2012. Meaning that just after the DESIS network was established, we really kicked off a formal lab where lots of competencies that were dealing with design for social innovation and sustainability among the more than 120 professors that we have today in our department those who are dealing with this topic. Actually, I'm coordinating the lab since 2020. Before me, at the very beginning, there was Ezio and then Anna Meroni. And by the end of this year, I will leave the floor to someone else, since we are sure that having new and fresh innovative ideas is a very crucial thing for research labs. Well, what we are doing is to have a network, let's say, of stakeholders that are part of the ecosystem of our lab. For sure, there is a research group I mentioned before, that around more than 20 people that are involving students in classes, in thesis, most of them postgraduate, and they are pushing, the in-field activities of the students to give them the chance to do things for real and to be connected with a real context, real people, real stakeholder, that are the local communities from one side, and this will be kind of crucial today in the discussion, but even the public administration, companies, let's say other actors, other subjects that we are involving in the process of designing solution for the, let's say, everyday life. Our, let's say, not approach, but let's say field of application is combining two main realms. The first one is about service design. That is, let's say, our signature field of application as lab. Since, in Politecnico, service design started to be teaching at the very early on the year 2000. And we have a long tradition about that. But this, throughout the years, was merging more and more with the spatial design competencies and skills. Spatial design meaning designing solutions for environments, indoor, outdoor, private, public, so public spaces, or the other side, even domestic spaces. And the crossing of these two realms is what we call S+S, so spatial service plus spatial design. That is a kind of innovative, or not innovative maybe, but emerging field of application that we are trying to investigate in the very last years, even through a PhD thesis and some publication. All of this, for sure, is under the shelter of design for social innovation and sustainability. So, as most of you, we are supporting local communities to activate bottom-up changes. And when I say activate, meaning not only facilitate, but being part of the game. So try to boost solution, try to ease the process of designing solution, and be part of the local communities to translate needs and input into really actions to be done in the field. With a claim that for us it's super important, that it's not just designing with, it's not just designing for, but it's designing with communities. And this is really crucial, I think, for most of us, or for all of us. But throughout the years, we try to understand what does really mean to design with and not only for. And we started to do it by exploring some in-field, some applied research project, and I will show briefly some of them. I think that one of the pioneer project that we used to tell as a signature project from our side is called Tivando, that is this convivial vegetable garden we have in the Bovisa Durando campus, or the campus where we are. It's a long story because it's almost 12 years that it's running. And at the very beginning, it's starting from a didactic activity, a class a workshop done with 50 students to design solution to open up the boundaries of the campus to the local neighborhood. And among all the solutions that the students designed, one was super successful in one-day prototyping event that we did, and it was the community garden. So that we went on exploring opportunities and understanding needs and desires of the community to develop a proper community garden through co-design session, by prototyping the spaces, by prototyping the services, and doing almost 1 year of co-construction work, working together with at least more than 1,000 people at the end of the day, because it was 52 Saturday morning and afternoon for 1 year in 2012. Being together and creating a sense of belongings to the people towards a place that they were building, and then in a minute they were able to use. So creating awareness of the possibility that a university campus, as a public university, could have for the neighborhood itself, and not consider the university as an alien that came and put boundaries and that's it. So giving the chance to people to enter the academic places, and creating even a community of volunteers for the weekly maintenance of the garden, and exploring even throughout the years, throughout the last 12 years, several and really a lot of different initiatives, including charity initiatives, the cultivation of hops to produce beer, hosting cultural events, that makes today for us Cultivando one of the most successful projects. I'm mentioning it because that was the starting that create, for one side, a solid knowledge in our team on how to use certain tools and approach in the following projects, and to try even to scale it up a bit, what we learned from that experience. That's why the second project is called Campus. It was a funded project by Politecnico. It was an internal call, and gave us the opportunity to translate the expertise that we collect in Cultivando towards a wider, let's say, context that was the whole neighborhood, by 4 main activities that was including duplicating a community gardens in a 5,000 square meters place where more than 100 families was facing, because there were some building, by developing a neighborhood social web TV, thanks to our colleagues of the media communication, and then together with the architects and with the management engineering, exploring even the economic sustainability of some solution, and creating an interior pavilion that hosted at that time for 2 summers activities of the more than 50 association of the neighborhood. So with the approach that included us as activators, again, people of the neighborhood as participants, but as creators of contents, and co-constructing even the solution after designing the shapes, the rules, choosing the materials to do several things. In this case, this 5,000 square meters garden. That at the end of the day was even an opportunity for us to create guidelines, in this case for community garden, that was presented to the municipality of Milan, that in that period, at that time, in 2014, 15, and 16, they were establishing a proper office to help association to run up community gardens. So the expertise that we collected, we share with them. And at the same time, the web TV for us was an opportunity to engage a specific community, that was the teenagers, in that case needs, so those not educated and not employed or trained people, to teach them, to share the knowledge with them about how to create media content in terms of video making and in terms of creating short video to be put on digital platform. There were 2 formats. One was called Video Fella, and that was this set of lecture for the people that were run even after our intervention by local association. And then there was a web TV on Facebook page that was called Plug TV that ran for some years. Well, The garden at the very beginning in 2012 and the campus project just 4 or 5 years after gave us a solid background to try to move even to other places of the city, being contextualized at the neighborhood level. So just a few years ago, in 2020, after 3 years of working in this neighborhood, we opened off-campus Nolo. That is the place where I'm talking today. What is it? Off-campuses are living lab, neighborhood living lab, that the Polysocial, that is the Politecnico social responsibility program, started to open in fragile contexts in the city of Milan. To have places where students, professors, again, PhD candidate, let's say the academic realm, could work side by side with local communities out of the campus, so off campus, in very, sometimes even unexpected location. Like the very first one that was open was in San Siro, that is a special neighborhood quite north of Milan, at the ground floor of a big social housing complex. And the second one is this one where I am, that is within a municipal market in the neighborhood of Nolo. That is an emerging neighborhood with more than 30 nationalities of the inhabitants, and in which in the last years, lots of things are changing. And so we ask the municipality to get access to one of the empty stall within this market that is still running, but half empty for the half of it. So to run these off-campus that actually are 2 places of 30 square meters, offices, that are just in between the butcher and the restaurant and the grocery, and give us the opportunity to get across several people who are coming here for purchasing the goods, but at the same time, it's becoming year by year a center of exchanging knowledge in between the Politecnico and the neighborhood, and we are even giving the place to some local association to let them work by themselves. We are hosting a web radio that is Radio Nolo, that is a web radio of the neighborhood. And basically what we are doing are 3 action levels. So we are developing projects with the people who are living here, and we are promoting initiatives like cultural events, cultural initiatives, or hosting activities with the local networks of association, and then organizing events to disseminate some results. 3 are the main, let's say, running projects. The first one is the regeneration of a public space as a public square. This is what we call the social courtyard. It was a place that we transformed last year, just very close to where we are now. That was before a deposit of garbage. And we transformed it into a public square where people could come and just enjoy fresh air outdoor. And we signed what we call a collaboration pact with the municipality of Milan, that is a kind of agreement with the municipality to take care of the space and maintain the quality of the space together with the association. The second one is Sospesa, that was born as a charity project to sustain, vulnerable categories of people of the neighborhood by giving them food for free through donation of private people. And so the idea is to host here these services that week by week is giving 20 food boxes to 20 different families or subjects of the neighborhood, where the food is buy at a very short chain, so creating even economy in the local context in the market. And the very last one is the vocabolario di quartiere, or the situated vocabulary, that thanks to Virginia Tassinari, who was a visiting researcher in our lab for 4 years, we developed these conversations with the different communities of the neighborhood based on some specific words that were kind of hot topics in the social media of the neighborhood itself. In this neighborhood, there is a Facebook group of 12,000 people who are discussing about lots of things. We just take some keywords to go diving deep into the meaning and creating a situated vocabulary that for us was even an opportunity to get in touch with all of these local communities. Well, these were lots of projects based on the city of Milan at a very local level. And in 2020, when we realized that we got a lot of knowledge in using some tools and using an approach, we decided to answer to an European call for Creative Europe with a project that is called Smoothies. And it's about creative work with smaller remote places, with the idea that together with 10 partners around Europe that we call nodes of creativity, and you can see from the map they're very dispersed. I mean, they're very diffuse in Europe. We try to explore a methodology with them to design new opportunities, scenario, and solution for the long term, and for a long-term scenario, so in 2050, 2100, with the idea to use what we call windows of the future to explore opportunity for those small and remote places that most of the time are not affected, are not interacting by the design creativity or the design approach. And so together with that, we started a lot of activities meeting with locals, with what we call local heroes that let us enter into this very small community. And when I say small, I'm telling about villages of 30 people in Estonia to villages of 1,000 people in Portugal. And creating connection with all of those places that are depository maybe of cultural tradition, but suffering from depopulation, but still having lots of valid cultural things to be assessed and to give value to them. And through all these works, what we are doing today is to do projects in the field of public space in order to give a legacy to these places, together with some co-design activities and co-creation activities that we did with the very local community. Together with that, and in parallel, again, in the city of Milan, the last project that I would love to share with you is what we call the neighborhood school, La Scuola dei Quartieri. There is a project that it was run together with the municipality of Milan and several different actors, including us, that we were involved into the design part of it. So the easing the process of facilitating and instructing the exchange of knowledge with people of the city that have an idea innovative idea for a startup or for a project in the municipality of Milan. So 2 main objectives is to create projects and services implemented by citizens to improve the life of the neighborhoods, and to try to revitalize even the suburbs of the cities. In these 3 main stages, that starting from the inspiration, and then to knowing and learning, and then to experiment and support. So in these 3 main stages, the lab was involved and developed some training for some projects that in the last year were done. Like these are some of the projects that were really proposed by people of the city, and they get the chance to be instructed, or to be helped in developing some ideas with the tools of design that we were using. Well, I think that this was to give you kind of glimpse of what we are doing. And sorry if I just took 20 minutes, but it's to give you a general idea even of the process and the legacy that from time to time the projects are giving to the following one. And so how we starting from a very punctual thing, and how we were able throughout the years and throughout all the knowledge that we built project by project to try to decline or adapt or replicate or scaling up the approach and the tools that we were using. I will stop myself here, and I leave the floor to Chengfan and to Beatrice for the second part. That is more a discussion among us, and maybe we can even take advantage of something that I show in the very first part. But it's a discussion about the role of this community in our project. But I leave Chengfan to introduce this second part.
Thank you, David. I'm appreciate about the project you introduced before. Very good, and also like a whole image to show the project. So when I'm following that, it's really interesting. So hello everyone, and nice to meet you there. I'm kind of like a new being here, and my name is Chengfan Zhang. I'm the PhD student in the Politecnico, in the Polimi DESIS lab now, and my supervisor is Valentina Licchio and Daniela Soloni. I saw them all in this room now. Okay, hello. Actually, for this discussion is also related to my PhD topic, which I'm start from my practical experience and move to the theoretical research, which is related to design for community development. I find this topic very interesting because actually we are kind of always think about community when we do design for social innovation projects, but sometimes we kind of ignore the context as community, and sometimes, and I also find a very interesting trend that people are start to thinking about how we discuss community as the center of our design and as a design objective. So here I discuss with David, and we create a whiteboard. I'm going to show the screen now. Unfortunately, we are not let everybody participate in the whiteboard, but we leave these questions and like a triggers for everyone to start the discussion. So here is the 3 questions that we are thinking about, and also thanks to my colleague Beatrice, and she will take the note for everyone. And we are hopefully everybody is going to participate and show your voice and show your opinion, so that we can enrich and contribute to this whiteboard from empty to full. So the first question actually is very interesting. I know that everybody, they are in the community, and at least we have some project experience, and we discuss about that. So maybe it's very interesting to let everybody in this room can start to reflecting what do we define the relation with the community that we are working with. I don't know if somebody want to show your voice now, or you inspired from the projects that we showing before, and we are welcome for your voice. And yeah.
Maybe Chengfan, you can make an example from the project that we show, just to trigger the conversation, and maybe explaining what do we really think, or what do we really mean by define the relation with.
Yeah, exactly. For example, think about the Polimi DESIS lab. We have the NOLU, off-campus NOLU. And here, actually, sometimes we, as a designer, participate in the community, and we start to contribute to the context. And as basic, my review before, we find that the definition of the relation really interesting. We kind of emerge in some community-centered design, or community-based design, or community-driven design. It's kind of like a different level that designers involved into the community, and we contribute or collaborate, or we try to create this kind of environment. So we are curious about maybe some inspired from these ideas, and we are thinking about if you have some ideas or basically your experience, how you feel relation with this community, and how you are inspired by this community that you are working with. I don't know if it's explained it very well, or What do you think, David? Maybe we can have a conversation about the project
Yeah,
that
no,
we had before.
to me it's super clear, but I will leave the floor maybe to someone else because yeah, maybe there is someone who would love to join the conversation about that.
Yeah, somebody from other DESIS lab. I don't know if everybody have the, yeah.
Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
This is Yanfang Zhang from Kyushu University, Japan.
Hello.
And I really like your question. For me, I think I will define the relationship with the community as a design partner. Yeah, because all time we work with the community, but of course in this community a lot of different background people, different layer, different knowledge, all time things, and we work together as the Deft said. It's not designed for. If you design with, how can you make this kind of relationship with them before the project? So that's why we use the design partner all the time. Yeah, just my opinion. Thank you.
That's really friendly, words like partner. We collaborate and we try to co-create everything. Thank you. And
yeah, my curiosity is even to understand. I mean, if it happens to you to create a community or to jump into an existing community or to launching or giving some ideas and then see if there are a group of people or individuals that are creating interest among that. Because in our projects, I mean, it happens different things. So it happens that, okay, we have an idea, we share the idea with the local stakeholder and we see if someone fall in love with it and help us in developing, or vice versa. I mean, we are receiving and absorbing stimuli from the existing community, and we are helping an existing group to do things. What is happening in your case? I mean, what is the most frequent thing in your projects?
Yes, that's a really good idea. Like, I have to say that for me, the community-centered design is very interesting. Like, we kind of see that this complex context as objective. But I found, I didn't know if everybody noticed that we can see that community as a design objective, or somebody rejects to see this as a design objective. And also the rules of different people. I see Lita raise your hand, please.
We just started a new project, and in this project we are part of the community. It's inside the university with the students, and they are having some issues with violence, and so we're trying to find solutions together. And it's interesting not to be not design with, no, we're not designing with, we are the community. Yeah, we are all together, and that's different. And I think, well, let's see how it goes. We just had 2 meetings. It's just two-week project, if I can say like that's just started. But I think it's going to become something bigger, and people are joining in. And I think it's interesting to do something for ourselves, because usually we're working with a community where you live, but you do not really belong to. So you have to take your time so that the people accept you and everything. And now this time is different. We are the community. We are working for ourselves. And let's see where this leads us and what we can get from there, how we can get from there.
Well, that's really interesting things. Like you said, you are be part of the community and you are the community. That's an interesting side. I mean, that's good, because as a designer, sometimes I find the cases where I usually find a very interesting context. We find a creative people, and then we participate and we join and we try to involve and create some interesting things. But it's also very interesting to start from us to build or create a community. Hello. I don't know if other people want to raise their hand. Okay.
If not, we can move to the second.
Yeah.
I
Okay. I didn't see you raise your hand, sorry.
No, I find so. First of all, thank you so much. And well, I could also say that I'm a little bit moved to go back to the Politecnico since a long time that we have not seen what you're doing. So compliment. But I want to say something on this question. Probably as has been already said quickly by Davide, but I want to stress. So the condition can be very diverse, because it can happen that you work in a place where there is a community, and therefore you can work with. And very frequently we say we work with. But you can also be part of the community. And in the case, many of the cases that Davide presented, the designers were also part of the community. So also I like it a lot what Rita said. In some case, we in the community. We are part of the community. And but I want to stress that sometimes it happens to us to work in a place where there are no communities. And this is really challenging. And this is why I wanted to say something, because maybe you know, there is some critique about social innovation around. And the critique is based on something that is real, even though I think that social innovation is very important. To work with somebody, to work with a community, you should be in a place where people has the time, the energy to be a community, because to be a community asks for attention, time, making things. So there are some places where this is impossible. People are not capable to do it. So we are observing a kind of a new disequality in between the ones that have the time to be organized as a community and the ones that do not have it, because they are so poor in time, poor in energy, poor in the possibility to get attention to these things. And this is very, very important. So me and many people, some people think that the real challenge is so what you have done, in my view, is very good. I'm not criticizing the way, imagine. I was one of those that pushed for it. But now we are really to understand what does it mean to try to help the community making where it's difficult to have community for the reason that I said. So in some way, in that case, it's a kind of design for. So we have to rethink, because if you don't have community, you have to design for something happening that could generate the condition for the community. And the project, when we propose a project, even in a place where there is no communities, maybe we propose it not alone. We can propose it with some communal institution, with the city, with somebody that's in charge. And so we are working to generate condition to create the bottom-up activity. So I think that even though designing with is, of course, very important when it's possible, to design in the community also, but we have in some way to reevaluate also the design for when we are in a condition where we do not have the partner yet. We are there to generating the possibility to have a partner.
Thank you. I think it's very interesting to hear about this opinion, especially the dynamic rules and also like different, and what we need to do now is like to rethink and everything. And I saw the raised hand from Beatrice. Hello.
Hello, thank you. Actually, first of all, congratulations for your amazing projects. It was really inspiring, the work that you have been doing and being able to really engage the community. And piggyback on what, as you said, thank you for your intro, because it was exactly what I was trying to reflect and put into words while I was trying to think about this approach, this question, which I think is such a deep question and so difficult to go through and dive deep. But what I had here on my notes, and then as you explained it very well, but he also mentioned about when we are working with no communities. And for me, the real struggle is also when you are working with more than one community. So I would say that the communities are the designers and we are the facilitators, and we choose if we are working with or for. And because most of the times, and when we are working with more than one community, we cannot physically and emotionally be part of every community. We are just the facilitators, the line, that the thread that makes them together and creates the space and the opportunity for them to work together. And sometimes it's really difficult to respect the time because, for example, even with the project that we are also having with the community garden, we are struggling with that. The students have a specific timeline of work. The community of the neighborhood have their own time, their own space. So putting them in touch is also creating a different space that it's not created yet. So it's hard and it's difficult. So yeah, I just wanted to share this perspective because I think as you put it into a very nice way, and I was not finding the words to express this, but he gave me the right prompt to follow. Thank you.
Super good. And I really love the opinion about like multiple communities in the same way, and also how we respect the daily routine from our neighborhoods and how we collaborate with them. And I also saw the raised hand from Valentina Tenelli. Hello.
Yes. Hello, thank you. Thank you for your perspectives, Beatrice, but also it made me think about the fact when you have multiple communities that are sometimes conflicting between them, is also another challenge. And also where you have communities that not only are conflicting, but are also weak somehow, so they risk to disgregate or they are not that solid. So I think that in those contexts, our role is also to, I hate the word resilience, I really hate it, but to foster the resilience, but also the dialogue between communities that are frictioning and that are at risk of disgregating. I saw it in our context, but also maybe in the context of my research in which you have some contradictions and conflicts. So I wanted to add with this perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Valentina. Can I suggest just to move forward since it is 2:45 and we have to finish in an hour as promised. So there are again two questions, Chemfan.
Yeah, I think it's really good conversation, the last part, because we already tried to start to reflect what community mean for us and how the rules of us, like as a designer and the relationship with the community that we are working, I think is a really good start point. So let's basic on this level and keep moving for the next step. So the second question, actually, you can also see this as a trigger, like what is the important for you to work with community? At the beginning here, we changed this question a little bit because we want to think about what is the motivation behind when you see the community or you try to create the relationship. Like somebody maybe say, okay, maybe from the policy, I applied a project and then I try to start to think about it. But we also find some interesting group that in our daily life, we start to meet and we start, okay, maybe we can do something. Maybe they're just our neighbors or something. So here I leave two sticks here, maybe can inspire you, but we can also start to discuss this topic. So like, what is important for you to think about to start to work with the community? And I just interviewed with David and he told me that it's because value, and also it's very nice to involve different stakeholders and different perspectives. I don't know other kind of community, maybe we can also start to think about the context of community, and then we start to think about the importance of your work with the community. I don't know, somebody, if you want to raise your hand as the first volunteer to show your opinion. Silence. Okay, Lita. Hello.
Okay, I'm good at talking. I think for me, it's important to work with the community because we get to know each other better. And getting to know each other better, we are capable of understanding each other better and making life easier for everybody. So I think the most important thing is that the connections that you make and the kind that you start in having different perspectives. You know, you change the side of the spectrum of the prism that you're looking at and say, oh, okay, so that's why they have been acting like this or like that. And maybe this is easier for you to get along with your own community.
Thank you, Lita is very inspired. And I also other two people raise their hand. Thank you. And the second one is the Nikos. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm on my mobile phone, so I'm hoping you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you very well.
Yeah, I mean, beyond the obvious humanistic reason that beyond the obvious humanistic reason that, you know, one wants to help her local community as much as possible, and that in itself is a sufficient reason, important reason in itself to work with your community, you know, to be, if you like, positive and to contribute something positive. Beyond that, there's also another very good reason, and that, in my view, is what I would call a reality check. You know, I mean, we cannot have social design in a lab cut off from the stakeholders of the community. We need to go out there and somehow, through all those strategies that we know, participatory strategies and all that stuff that we are aware of, without that reality check, without that direct contact with a community of sorts, there is no reality check. The ideas are just detached from any real world. So, you know, there's obviously the humanistic reason that one wants to offer something positive, but there's also a very pragmatic reason. And the pragmatic reason is that unless you are engaged with that community somehow, you'll never have a reality check. And that was all my contribution for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your opinion, really inspired. And I move, because we need to keep the time, so I move the microphone to the next person, like Yang Fang. And yeah, I leave the microphone here.
Yeah, thank you. So for me, work with the communities, the most important things is how to create equal relationship with them. Because as you know, all time we run a project, use the design method, leave your thought designer and this kind design educator, facilitator is expert. So all time we talk something or we see something, how can I say it? So you teach somebody to do design thinking way, but it's not very clear. It's a little, sorry. But it's not true. If you want to have a really good relationship, you need understanding the community. So you will listen to them and to know what they really want, and you will have the equal relationship with them. Sorry, my environment a little noisy. Sorry. Okay.
No, it's okay. We can hear your voice very clearly. And I also just copy and paste two comments from our chat. One is from Beatrice and one is from Natalie. And one is about, so we are not mainly discuss like individual actors, and the other one I'm going to show here. I don't know if somebody want to keep talking with this topic or like keep moving on. Okay, so because I think these two as a really good foundation led us to start reflecting, and we got a lot of very interesting comments. And I think these things, the legacy things, in my opinion, maybe one of the most important things for us, since we are kind of like network with a very long history. 20 years more or less. So we did a lot of projects from different labs, but what kind of legacy these projects have? And here I leave two perspectives. One is from the designer part, because as we are designer, we usually think about, okay, so what we can leave behind for the community itself. But as a group, we keep doing the project and we keep to have this community involved to different communities, diversities, rules changed. So in the other side, I also want to push everybody to think about, like, as a designers, what can we leave for us during this process and everything. So if somebody wants to raise your hand, and I'm keep checking the chat, and if anybody wants to send some messages, I'm doing copy and paste it, post it here so everybody can see it.
I just add something, Chenfen.
Yes.
We used to put this claim under the DESIS lab that is let the people enabling people to make things happen. So to me, I mean, that is super important. But I would love to know if then people are able to make things happen. So the legacy to me is to start the process, but then even give the legs to go on by their own. So this is to me crucial in what we are doing, because what we call the exit strategy of the designer is when we are not more totally and fully engaged in something, but we are able to let the people take care of what they do with us or we do with them.
Yeah, that's a good opinion. I totally agree. Like, I mean, basically my personal experience, what I can see that during this project, sometimes we just leave the toolkits and some rules, but I don't know if that's work. I don't know if some labs try to follow in the things when we try to apply these toolkits and everything. Oh, I saw Nikos open your cameras again, so maybe you want to say something. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, and perhaps the previous speaker just mentioned it anyway, that in terms of legacy, what more beautiful legacy to leave behind when you initiate a project with some local community, whatever that community is, and you feel your role has ended, and you step back, you move out of the project, and the community runs it on its own without your help, without your support. They become self-sustained, they become empowered, and they understand the power they have to do these initiatives on their own now, without us guiding them in any sense of the word. In that respect, I would argue that that would be the best legacy, the legacy where you don't need anymore to be part of that community in any role, because that community has taken on its own life and carried on the project on their own, and maybe other projects as well. So I was thinking about the gardening project that was presented in the beginning of this meeting, and obviously fascinating, and all these different plots of land where these gardening projects are taking place. And I was wondering, I mean, are you still involved in those projects directly or indirectly, or have they acquired their own life now? And the people, to put it plainly, not rudely, they don't need you anymore. They just acquired a life of their own, and they're carrying on their own. I mean, that is a great empowering legacy to leave behind. That's my view anyway. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I totally agree. This kind of like when we live this community, what's if the community can still sustainable development or like self-building or self-running, that would be a perfect result that we're expected to see. And I also copy and paste the two comments from the chat. And oh, okay, I also say Beatrice show her opinion. I'm going to post. I don't know if somebody still wants to open your microphone and show your opinions about that. Okay, I saw our chat start to have the discussion. Super good. Yeah,
maybe Melanie can open the mic. Melanie, are you there? I think you.
Yes. Hi. I think this discussion brought on by Nikos is really fantastic. I've left a few thoughts in the chat. In South Australia, I've been working with the community over quite a long period of time, and more my input became lesser and lesser, and it was just astounding how they took the lead, empowered themselves. They started as a small community of about 12 people, and I think now they are 60 people working together in a very small place, coming together, and they work specifically around arts and well-being. So a really fantastic and powerful group. And I think the question about empowering is we cannot do that for the community. It's really an inside process that needs to happen. And witnessing that, learning from it, eventually also helps us as designers. Because I truly believe that these communities become our mirrors, in the sense that we learn back from them. I just want those thoughts, but I have it in the chat as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your idea, really inspired. Okay, so I don't know if still somebody wants to raise your hand, but since we have the time limit and it's already only have 3 minutes to like 3, so I want to leave the space to Professor Manzini because I think he's going to have the closer presentation, if I remember what, Teresa?
We can't hear you, Ezio.
So first of all, thanks to give me the opportunity to say something more. That is not the real closing because the questions are very open. But I want to say one thing on legacy. I find this point very important. So I will not try to develop it now, but I think that also what has been written, and I try to read very quickly now, is very, very interesting. So please put them in a way that maybe we can publish in the website. And I think that this will be really very interesting. And also very compliments to you, not only for the project, but also for the project of this DESIS Café, because you introduce a methodology that has never been done before. And I think that I propose to Teresa and to Giselle to try to do it. So the story that is new is that we are not only here to chat and present some projects, but the DESIS Lab propose a question, maybe one, maybe two, maybe one, it's enough. And so we use a little bit of time to chat, to discuss this question. So if every DESIS Lab that present a DESIS Café would present a question, this would be very interesting for everybody and very enriching. So thanks to having offered us this opportunity that once is said is so obvious, so simple, but we have never thought before. So this has been really a kind of innovation in our way of making the DESIS Café, and this is very good. Given that, I think that I can only say thanks to everybody. This has been, in my view, a really good mix in between being informal, but at the same time, in some way, guiding the conversation in a certain direction. And that has been very useful and interesting. And well, maybe I leave the floor to Teresa, that she's the real boss here.
Thank you. I was just thinking precisely as you that when I thought about DESIS Café, I was imagining precisely this kind of interaction where people can just present what they are doing, but people can also answer questions that are, or challenges that are put by the DESIS labs that are hosting the DESIS Café. So for me, this is the perfect example. I hope the next ones also be able to put people interacting in this way, because also we have the how can I say, the testimonies that we can put on the website. So it's not something that, of course, all of them are on YouTube. We can still have the archive of all of our DESIS Café, but this is a good way to publish what the thing people are saying and discussing here. So congratulations, David, congratulations, Stefan and Beatriz, and also the Polimi DESIS Lab that has so many inspiring projects. I know all of them, but every time I see them, I get inspired to start something very similar. You are really doing a very fantastic work. So I hope the other labs will get inspired by what you are doing.
Picture
Thank you. Yeah, picture.
Thank you
Let's
very
take a
much.
picture.
in the camera.
Yeah. So smile. Open the cameras. Okay. There are more people now. Let me take another picture. Okay.
We have Cecilia now.
Yeah. Fantastic. It was a great discussion. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Teresa, for hosting us, and hope to see you soon, all of you.
Yeah, and as I said before, the next one will be in Brazil. So
Good.
let's fly to Brazil on May.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao. Ciao,
Bye.
ciao, grazie. Ciao.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye bye.